Hey everybody, and welcome back to another casted game here on the Age of Bison. This is a round two game. This one was supposedly pretty fun one. It's a India mirror between Codefender and Terminus. I believe this is their game three. I have not seen the other game, so I can't even spoil if I wanted to what the who's winning or who takes the series. But these players noted that it was a pretty good one. I'm joined here today by Pixelbuggy. Pixelbuggy, how's it going?
Hello, thanks for having me, man. It's been a while since I last casted of the games for the channel, but it's fun.
It is, and I know you play India, so I'm going to start the clock here, and I'm going to let you talk for a minute because I feel like you are probably going to be much more knowledgeable on this Civ than me.
hmm Yeah, I mean, India has a bunch of openings. Like, I've been seeing a lot of 10-10s lately into like Sepoy aggression, which is like 10 Sepoys in base by what, 4 or 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the players have in mind, but we'll see how they start off their build orders, so we can get an idea on how they approach this mirror matchup, which you don't see really often on the ladder, do you?
No, I feel like India has really decreased in popularity. This map is Upper Himalayas. This is an old map. There are a lot of cattle, so I wonder if we could see a sacred field. But I guess just in general, having cows, being able to eat them, is a pretty big boon for India. But it's such a flexible civ, like you said, that this mirror is, I think, going to ultimately come down to like who is able to react better, right? Because India has this full roster of units, but not necessarily like super potent shipments in the same way that like Two Falcons or Revolt is, right? So
Exactly. So usually like two siege elephants is used to take out falconets, but I'm really curious to see how siege elephants fare against the opponents' two siege elephants. That would be kind of hilarious to watch, but I hope we get to see that at some point in the game. But again, like you said, India is pretty versatile. Like you get whole roster of units. Like you get Sowars, you get Zamboraks, you get Skirms, you get Sepoys. Like you could pretty much do anything in H2. You could go for an extended H2 against India, but I feel like whoever gets to H3 first gets like a big momentum because it's not easy taking out elephants, especially as India in H2 unless you have a massive Zamborax to deal with it.
right.
Like, yeah, but Mahouts just do so much damage against Gurkhas.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like we have our first shipment coming in.
Yeah, was pointing out there too during it, really good reaction time there by Codefender, right? Terminus went, snagged one of the cows, right? And there's a little bit of positioning going for it, but just great reaction time by both these players. So I'm already looking forward to this. So Upper Himalayas, it looks like Terminus has a deck crafted just for that. We'll go over to his area. It looks like he's opening one house, 1320, kind of a standard age up.
He hasn't clicked up yet.
No, he is not.
He's nowhere close to clicking up. Is Codefender doing like a 10-10? No, I doubt that. I didn't see how. Did he pop on a house? I don't think so.
Oh, he did. So
Oh,
interesting.
he is doing the 12. Okay.
So let me, because I have to go like this or it won't show. So standard FF. Interesting. Okay, so Codefender's doing like a 10-10 FF. I'm very curious about this. What are your thoughts, Pixel?
I think he just wants to get those elephants out early and end the game early, maybe. Not sure what his thought process is, but going from a 10-10 to an FF doesn't sound the best if you think about it. But the thing is, Asian civs can still train villagers while aging up, So I don't see this as a big hinder to India at all. But this could be interesting. But I feel like looks like Terminus is coming to the middle of the map, getting that Agra down close to the coin mine. So we might see some H2 play from him, or it's just him like taking the map. Not sure if he has scouted out Codefender yet, but I'm pretty sure the age up time like lets him know that he's going for a 10-10. So maybe Terminus might predict that he might be doing the Sepoy rush, but that might throw him off. But I'm sure like when you usually see a 10-10 age up time like that, you expect the Sepoy rush. No one expects a fast fortress, but let's see how Codefender deals with this.
Definitely curious to, a 10-10 with a defensive aggro is something that you do not see every day. Lots of cows here. Like I said, they can be eaten. The sacred fields for India are kind of like a long-term investment. I don't usually see them in 1v1s unless I think you have to have like 8 or so for that to be like worth the payoff. Someone in the comments
I would totally eat the cows, by the way. Especially if you're doing a fast fortress, I would totally eat those. Like right away.
Here he is.
Because if you are doing the fast fortress, you want to get that age up time as soon as possible.
Exactly. You know, cows are great. You know, civs like Dutch and India that don't necessarily get the best value from a cow on a map with livestock like this. You know, just the tempo that they get can often be just as valuable as another civ. Although, of course, you know, there's specific civs that do better. Now gathering up the 700 coin, 3 on. Okay, yeah, it looks like he kind of realized because he wasn't gathering coin in transition, which is again tricky because India has to use wood to make its villagers, right? So the FF without a fast age up option. It's kind of tricky. And it looks like okay, Terminus going for kind of a standard, looks like Sepoy and some sowers, right, to catch any Gurkha opening. Ooh.
Yep. Might snag this wood treasure. Yeah, he's not going to get that. By the way, again, opting for the defensive Agra for the fast fortress. Like you usually see the Karni Mata for the fast fortress because you get those extra resources to age up quicker. But I think he was expecting some kind of early pressure from Terminus, but maybe that's why he opted for the Agra. I'm not quite sure, but or maybe he has other plans.
I guess so. You know,
I think we might see just Charminar gates being popped out in H3 just to get that advantage. You know.
What I think the trick is going to be is not getting too damaged here by this pressure. Right now, India does not have the high siege. Sours are kind of, for lack of a better term, squishy units. I mean, he's about to click up here any second, but yeah, Terminus now, not quite sure what he's doing. He's probably going around here, maybe trying to get, going around the Agra, trying to get a jump on these hunts, I imagine.
Yeah, the Sepoys should be protecting those villagers, but they're still by the berry bushes. I don't think he's noticed that he has the 2 Sepoys with him. Or maybe he's just trying to keep them safe, but again, the thing is, Platypus, like, if you look at the timing, it's almost close to 7 minutes, so do you think having that 10-10 age up was worth it? Or maybe if he had eaten those 6 cows that he has, he would have aged up first, or what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I would agree with you. I think if he would have taken advantage of this, now, these yaks, do they... Okay, that's right, yeah. Well, wait a minute. Are these like sacred cows so they can't eat them and they just get the XP?
Oh, yeah. I feel like a total idiot now.
I didn't know either. I don't know if it's always been this way. I guess so, but
you can't eat livestock as India.
Right, you can only
India can't eat livestock.
You can't eat cows. I think they can eat sheep, right? Or is it all livestock?
All livestock.
All right. Well, someone in the comment section, if you made it this far, you've already written your comment. Our bad. But this looks like I'm gonna guess the Charminar.
Yep.
No,
he's going up the Karni Mata. Okay.
What are we seeing? Okay, Code Fender, you're cooking. I like what you're doing, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Getting idled here. So 25 vills. Oh, sorry. 25 pop to the 25 vills now of Terminus. You know, and this is the problem, right? Because India does not have a fast, no exiled prince, right? You have to expose. And, I mean, yeah, loses the vill there. He's idled. He doesn't have a lot of resources. Like, it's going to be hard for him to what? I guess he can pop Mahout, which is never a bad thing, but...
Yeah, Mahouts can do okay against the Sepoys, but since they recently got their buff to 3 times multiplier against heavy cav units... it's still 2.
Yeah, it was
1.75, I believe.
Well, actually, yeah. I think this might even be last patch, too, before January 31st. So, yeah, they do the same or slightly more than...
No, so if I recall, I think they had a 3-time bonus, but they decreased it to 2-time bonus and gave them better base damage. I think that was the last patch.
Yes, and I think they gave them a slight improvement, so they should be doing 40 damage now on the current patch. So, again, we're... by the time this comes out, might be a little bit behind, but this is probably played before the January 31st patch, is my guess. And, okay, so he aged, and now Terminus... now also aging behind this. So far these guys are kind of mirroring each other, but I have to say, I think I like Terminus's position better. Like, he's idled Code Fender a good amount. He's got map control, right? Like, he can always retreat back to his base with this Agra being all the way out here. Hasn't really lost too many units. I don't know what Code Fender's going to do here, but he definitely needs to push out. But okay, it looks like he opts to send intervention first.
Not a bad choice, but feel like he could have. Does he have like a Gurkha shipment with him? No. Oh, he does have. Okay. Right. What I would like to see from Terminus at this stage of the game is like, since you can't really push in, like just try going around the map, collecting a few treasures to get that extra advantage. I feel like there's a bunch of 80 coin treasures here on the map.
All right.
And wood treasures as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I mean, people so often forget that the treasures. I mean, free real estate's free real estate, right? I mean, you could definitely be using all these small advantages, especially when you've been idled, right? Because the whole point of a fast fortress is you're trying to get like a leg up and some momentum against your opponent. And I think ultimately what we're going to see here is Code Fender has to do something because at this point, what he's here, 33 to 27 vills. This is a mirror too, and when we look at just the resources of Terminus, looking fine. We're on Code Fender though. Okay, so yep, coming in with the move compared to Terminus.
Players, the thing is, most players don't utilize their resources as like, they keep floating resources. I'm not sure what the thought process is, but whenever you are floating on resources, if you feel like the production buildings can't keep up with the resources, just build extra production buildings. Like, why do you want to keep those resources in hand? Like, you could have like double the units with those amount of resources that you're just stacking up.
I agree.
Like right now he has like 800 food and 400 coin. Like that could be like two full batches of muskets, three full batches three full batches of muskets.
Ooh, spicy.
Like,
no, I agree. I totally agree with, and I think that's a problem so many players do, especially at like our level, like in the mid elos, right? Is we know how to do an opening, but just the sheer amount of APM, we end up stacking resources, and like you said, that's another batch. That's another.
Yep.
That's economic upgrades. No player here has a market yet, right? Like, go to the market, get some extra bonuses, and that will pay off later. So at this point, these armies, while looking kind of small, it's a bit deceptive. You've got Arumi over here, which aren't going to do really anything into the cav, but would absolutely demolish the redcoats. Poor sowers, man. They're just... I'm just going to say it. Indian players are always complaining about this. Look, you get every goddamn unit type. You're allowed to have one C-tier unit, okay? But that being said, yeah, these things are pretty pitiful. Well, are those Rajputs?
Oh, yeah. He has a pretty diverse mix of units, if you think about
it. You can't counter my comp if everything's in it.
Yeah.
Right? Now getting more redcoats. Okay, so it looks like Code Fender here really... Ooh, are we seeing natives from Terminus?
Is that the Udasi temple? Oh, that is the Udasi temple. Okay. So he is training Chakram throwers to beat the muskets. I mean, they are pretty decent, but quite expensive, I would say, for like 100 foot, 50 wood.
Right. I think they buffed them a few patches ago. Like, these used to be really not a good unit, but perhaps they're good base. I know this adds quite a bit, right? The Army of the Pure, yep. Just that extra 2 range is huge.
It is huge, yes. Especially for a Grenadier unit that takes a while to charge up their attack. The extra range really does add up a lot. Like 16 range is what, crossbow range? That's that's basically crossbows with splash damage at that point.
Oh wow, they're 4.5 speed now too. And that hat is unique. I don't remember that hat before. Maybe it's always been that.
I don't think I've ever seen a golden hat like that on their head, but I just remember it being pointy, that's it.
Ooh, and a Code Fender here, kind of getting starved. Again, this is the danger, right, of on a map like this, of not taking map control with a civ like India. So he's going to have to fight, or he's going to have to move vills, but that's a lot of mahouts.
Yeah, that's a lot of mahouts, and he definitely saw that. So he's definitely going to prepare units to beat that. Maybe I feel like that. See, things like that is what gives the opponent the advantage, because you show up 5 mahouts and just fall back. Like, what did you get? Now the enemy, now the surprise factor is gone, right? The 5 mahouts could have done so much if he hadn't seen them before you take a fight.
Exactly. Not to mention, like, a unit like Mahout with their god-awful pathing, like, you kind of want to get them on top of people, right? Like, you want to get that element of surprise, get a surround on usually skirmishers, but even infantry, they can do decent, right? Just because they have so much HP and they have the area effect. But now, like you said, you've shown your hand, and, I mean, you've got these Howdas, which is nice, but, I mean, what are the Howdas countered here?
It's not about the counter. I mean, they have a pretty strong base damage. Like, it feels like they counter everything at this stage, like 72 base attack.
Yeah, that's true. They are great units, stronger than a War Wagon, but twice as much HP, but also twice as much pop, and not necessarily twice as much damage. I think the War Wagon does like 50 or 60 base. So
again, like you pointed out about the Howdas. I mean, sorry, the Mahouts. Even though they have really terrible pathing, it's not about getting those attacks in. It's just about tanking shots and like having the fear factor, like of having like 5 elephants on the field. It just makes the opponent like focus fire 1 elephant at a time, while the other units behind it does the real damage. If you know,
right?
like they have like what, 600 hit points. How much do they have? Okay, yeah. I mean. I was thinking of the war elephants, which was from the Udasi temple. That was like 600 hit points. But yeah,
that's right.
they have. Not the Udasi temple. Wait, did it? Oh, it's this one. What are they called again?
Bhakti?
The Bhakti. Yeah, the Bhakti temple gets the war elephants. I feel like he should train those. Yeah,
he is. He heard you. He's like, let's go. You want to do elephants? I'll do elephants. Okay, and the nice thing too is, again, without costing population, it gives them just a nice, it's less resource intensive, but I think we're about to see a huge fight here, and it looks like Code Fender kind of realizing he has to do something. Wow, he catches those grenadiers off.
Okay, we see those sepoys going into melee mode now, and the Udasi should be on the back. I don't know what they're doing out in front, but
right.
They're like they're slashing down the elephants with those things, and here comes the small war of. Look at how tiny they are compared to the. It's so cute.
Wow, these are. I mean, they cost no pop, but I mean, these Mahouts are the problem here. I mean, they're not dead, and the rest of this army. Okay, one Mahout goes down.
And the Howdas are doing like so much damage, right? Like they haven't even has he lost a single Howda yet? I don't think so.
I know that he had at least had 4, and it looks like he's probably going to lose what? Maybe? Okay, yeah. He's lost 3 Mahouts out of what, 8?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow. Just like that. Okay. Rajput's coming out though. Will he catch? Oh, he does.
And he still has all those red coats.
Oh, look at that. Oh, good job from Terminus to kind of start sniping this. It looks like Code Fender not really paying attention, and he does pay for that. I mean, those are a lot. Like I said, every Mahout means so much. Yeah, great value there. Does this one also go down? Yep. Oh, but he moves from too far back. Terminus, where are you going?
I guess he was really scared of those. He still did have like 3 Mahouts on the field, so I guess he didn't want to lose that mass early on, so he just backed off.
Yeah.
I guess he wasn't expecting the Rajputs to do so much damage to those Mahouts.
There goes the chakram thrower. There's a fight. What's going on here? Not sure, but after that big fight, I have to say, I think Code Fender is now looking a lot better. You know what I mean? Like never mind. Look at that eco difference. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's floating on a lot of wood as well.
It's like my boy Pete.
Shout out to Pete.
Exactly. We love Pete. We do. And you gotta do something with those resources. I mean, look, if you've got no coin, just sell wood. Market abuse is so unpopular in Age of Empires 3. And I know I played Age of Empires 2, where Saracens, one of my favorite civs. Market abuse is kind of like the way of the civ, but I feel like people in Age of Empires 3 are like just die-hard, absolutely communists. They just hate the free market, and they refuse to sell anything. All right, I'll be quiet again here. Yeah, these Rajputs are getting in work, man.
Yeah, Terminus realized that Code Fender has been like heavily focusing on the elephant combination, So he's doing well by responding them with Rajputs, even if they just get like 2 pokes in, they do like serious damage against these elephants.
They do, but now here's the worst case scenario: is when you have these
Yeah.
mahouts on skirms and trying to retreat and kite, ain't gonna work. Yeah.
Even the Howdahs behind this are like so much work.
Right. Is he gonna kill?
He is slowly taking map. He is like pushing the eco with his army as well. So
Just like that, ties back up again. This is the danger again of the elephants. It's like a high risk, high reward kind of army, right? Like they're extremely powerful, but they're not the most pop efficient. And if you lose them, replacing them, especially without the shipments, it's kind of painful.
he does have a lot of elephant cards, so I think he's gonna stick with it.
All right, this man likes elephants. Respect. I know it. I'm sure, as you can probably tell, since this is kind of like where you're from, Pixel, but I know Indian in real life, the elephant was not necessarily a core part of their army, but I must say they are cool looking.
They did use the elephants to siege down some stuff, but I don't think they ever used it in like proper combat though.
Right, not necessarily. Although I know like the Mughals did, but I'll get off the history lesson here. So, okay, as someone that plays India, if you're in this position, like what do you think each India player needs to do from here to win this game?
I think me personally, I would just start doing some raids on the sides. Like if you have done like a really good scouting on the map, you can see those dead hunts on the map. So what you should be doing is like send maybe even just 3-5 Rajputs around the map, or like 4-5 servers. Like go scout the map, like find where he's gathering his resources from. If you can confine him to his base, then you would have the eco lead over someone who's like hunting from hunts, rather than like compared to someone who's collecting from the rice paddies, So if you have a stronger eco, you can produce more units, and in theoretically, you basically outmass them and beat them. But I feel like Code Fender here is putting a lot of investment into these elephants, but at this stage of the game, I just feel like he really needs a mass of Gurkhas, like.
Something. Although, I mean, again, this is... you kind of want a path. Like, these elephants, when you're not, like, able to get them to move, like, they do a lot of damage in that type of scenario. That being said, yeah, I agree with you. Like, he's so big into these elephants that just the massive sepoys. And again, even though they don't have the greatest hand attack relative to their cost against these big tanky mahouts, it's still painful. But look at that. Maybe I spoke too soon, because now it looks like the mahouts are kind of cleaning up.
If you think about it realistically, these fights are pretty much almost equal on resource-wise, I guess. Like, I'm not sure if it's exactly the way to put it, but these fights end up like pretty close. It's almost like a tie, They always end up with maybe 5-10 units left, and they don't have the mass to push out and heal.
Whoa! Okay,
Pretty cost-effective fights.
Well, that just changed things. Look at that. That is a big mass of elephants. Okay, just like that. I'm saying Code Fender suddenly has quite a strong advantage, just because, again, there's not a lot of anti-cav left. Unless he's going to... making Gurkha. He's not making anything out of that. The siege of all of these elephants put together is just going to... it's going to tear everything down.
And what Code Fender has to do right now is just focus on making infantry. He does have the mass of elephants. He doesn't have to make any more. All he needs is a mass of Gurkhas and a few sepoys in the mix.
I think this guy's an elephant enjoying it. He's like, nah. We do an elephant now.
I have played a few team games with him, and I can confirm that he is an elephant enjoyer. So, yeah, he likes to monocomp elephants at some point of the game, but I think that's what he's trying to do.
Well, and he has to do something. He's 1 TC to 3. I mean, this is, again, India is not like a fast civ. It's not like Mexico where you can just click a card and you get 2/3 of your eco back instantly, right? Like, you have to slowly go up and spend resources and invest in things. It's like a steamroller, right? And Terminus, I mean, he doesn't have an army. Just the pop of this army alone is massive. It'll take him some time, but I believe if Terminus is just able to hold for a while, build up enough anti-cav, Terminus is going to win long term. But I think Code Fender has the advantage, and if Code Fender just pushes the button, as they say, and just either goes to Yeah, he's got no resources for H4, so you might as well just, like, YOLO into his eco.
Yep. We do see Terminus adding that third TC on the left side of the map. He is focused on eco at this point, so I feel like after maybe like 5-10 minutes, Terminus is gonna have more units out in the field than Codefender can push out his elephants from the stables. And that's the thing about elephants, they take so long to train. Even with the cards, like, they still take quite some time to train.
They do, you know, and he got Dravidian martial arts, so, like, this is his power spike, right? So, like, if you're Terminus, maybe a little bit greedy, right? I think you need a bigger mass than what you have, although usually you don't expect people... I like how he's going in the woods, by the way. You know, fun fact, despite living in the forests of Southeast Asia, in Age of Empires 3, these guys, their pathing is horrible through woods.
Yeah, you really need to utilize those trees against Mahouts to get that advantage.
Yeah, I feel like, again, if you're in like a low micro or a situation where these Mahouts get on top of you, they're more worth their value than they normally will, but they are so easy to kite at times, especially with bad pathing through woods. That being said, too, I really like how Terminus now, adding in Howdas. Yeah, he's almost got twice as many vills. Or he's got 50% more vills at this point.
These 5 Howdas alone can like one-shot a Mahout at this stage. Like, look at the amount of Mahouts he has. This is... you don't see this in a 1v1. Like, who makes so many Mahouts like this?
Yeah, this is pretty gnarly. I guess Codefender's now just going for it. Oh, is he gonna... yeah, that guy's dead.
Yeah, I would like to see more Howdas from Terminus, like an elephant-on-elephant battle.
That would be fun to watch, but it looks like he is an infantry enjoyer, so he's not a huge elephant fan. He's just going to go for more Sepoy. You know, again, too, these Sepoy on this current patch, they are not the best. Ooh. Okay, so what are you going to do here now? Terminus.
I would take down the house. I would take down that house. Its population space. So.
Oh, but he gets right on top of all those vills, and that's the power of the AOE. You see that all the health bars go down. Oh, but now he ships the Mahout. Oh man, this is dangerous. Let's see what happens here.
He's got a pretty good surround going on. As long as he micros those Howdas against those Mahouts, he should be fine.
Looks like Terminus here, maybe not necessarily sleep at the wheel, but these Rajputs getting on top from Codefender. Wow. I thought this was going to be a wipe for Codefender. It's not. I think Codefender is coming out just fine on it. He got the right units in the right spot. Wow.
Yeah, this is over for Terminus at this point. Yeah. Like, you can't deal with these many Mahouts in a small amount of time. Like, you can only like 3-4 racks pumping out Rajputs non-stop. He is getting those red coats, but I think it's well over for Terminus. I don't think you can come back from this.
No, between losing all those vills and just the sheer amount of pop, right? Each one of these moves is what, 6, 7 pop? I mean, it's like the equivalent of like 30 or 40 Hus.
He is pumping out more Sepoys, but he's completely out of food at the moment.
Yeah. I think he's completely idled. And yeah, if these things take down these racks, then there's going to be nothing to be able to reproduce back into this game. Yeah, 19 idols. I think Terminus is just kind of falling apart there. I think that battle just did not go the way he wanted it to. And yeah, now these Mahouts. Yeah, he's not really focus firing any of the weak ones down either. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a complete wipe.
Yep.
And more Mahouts.
Hey, if it keeps working, don't stop, right?
Yeah. When in doubt, add more Mahouts.
Yeah. The GG's got to be coming in here soon. I don't see how Terminus can really do anything else at this point.
Does Codefender have a market yet, or is he still without a market the whole game?
I think he built one a while back.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, look at that. He's even on mills. Yep. And just like that, GG is called. Wow, okay. That was a really interesting game. You know, I have to say there was quite a bit back and forth, especially with the fights on the center part. I think ultimately Terminus, he had a good idea. He just wasn't quite able to execute it. I think this fight over here, if he would have been able to keep his Howdas back and on the Mahouts, and then kept the Rajputs from jumping on his own Howdas, and the wipe is done, it's over for Codefender. But Codefender just had better micro, he had better unit positioning. He was able to catch these Vills out. Really, throughout the game, he was able to get a lot of value from the Mahouts. I just don't think that Terminus really had an effective answer. And ultimately, Codefender's cleaner strategy and more focused, even though long term he probably could have lost this game, was able to carry him through. Pixel, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so from my perspective, what I realized that Terminus needs to do is he didn't add many Zamburaks as you would expect. How would you normally respond to these massive Howdas? You make more stables, you add more Zamburaks. And Codefender realized that he wasn't making use of these units, so he decided to spam more Mahouts in his face till he learns his lesson, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, but so he just abused the fact that he wasn't making much anti-cav other than Rajputs. I mean, Rajputs still great units overall, but I feel like you need just some mobility and like kite down the Mahouts without taking much real damage is one way to go. And even from the start, like he never trained many anti-cav units or any cavalry units at all. Like all he did was make Sepoys, Gurkhas, few Rajputs, and he did ship that for servers at the start. Like he never added a stable ever since. I don't think. Yeah, he hasn't added the stable since he saw those 5 Mahouts. But yeah, I guess he wasn't expecting him to go full on elephants. But come on, his deck is full on elephants. I mean, you could have seen that coming. With all the elephant cards, but
I agree. I think again, Terminus. If you are watching this, I think you had some really good ideas. I think it was just ultimately came down to like micro control, and I think Codefender, kind of a bit of a gamble there to keep going in with the elephant ball. But yeah, you're right. Like if your opponent's not stopping it, just keep going. You know what I mean? Like no reason to stop the pain train, right?
Yep.
So I think with that, we're going to get ready to wrap up. Do you have any closing thoughts about this map and this matchup?
Yeah, but the 10-10 into an FF didn't feel that useful, I guess. I'm not sure what his thought process was, but the age up times, I feel like the normal FF would have netted him a better eco at the start. But what time did he go H3? Was it like 8 minutes, 7 minutes?
Yeah, 8:30.
That is quite late. I mean, he was delayed. I don't blame him, but I feel like a normal FF would have done him way better. But not sure quite exactly what his thought process was for that. I think maybe he wanted to go for the H2 play, and he was like, no, my opponent has an H2 deck, so he's gonna just change it into an FF, maybe.
Or maybe he just likes elephants. Maybe he's like, you know what? I'm just going to get to these elephants. This is what I live for. This is why I play. So
yeah, he just wanted to get those. He just wanted to do the memes, I guess.
I agree, but yeah, some of the timings were interesting, but at the end it worked out, and that's what makes these mid-elo games so fun sometimes, because like people have their own spins. People are a little bit more creative, and so what you saw is like, yeah, it's not the fastest FF, but maybe it was the right play for this map. And ultimately, he was able to stabilize. He was able to push out with the superior mass, and again, I think Terminus, if you're watching this, a little bit, take some of this feedback, and I think in the next game you'll be looking fantastic. So if you guys have made it this far, please let us know what you think about this game. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We really enjoyed seeing all the feedback we've had, and so have the players too, with their highs and their lows being casted. So appreciate you guys all. We've got some more games coming, and we will see you on the next one.